Let me just, okay, great. Yeah, so, hi.
Hi. I don't know. Let's see. Brisket, please.
Yeah.
So, I was trying to think of what to write, and I was actually researching for another story, looking up food in different places, and I found a brisket sandwich, and I went, man, that sandwich sounds really good. But then I remember at a restaurant I worked at that had a white sauce, and I was like, that probably would go well with it, but how can I make that fit into a horror story? Because I was hungry, and that was all I was thinking about. So I was like, all right, we'll find a way to make this work.
I love that so much.
Yeah, I think I was writing it while I was at work, and it was before lunch. So I was like, brisket, that sounds great. But yeah, I was thinking about writing a whole bunch of different things. I just didn't want to scare myself. Because I don't handle like scary movies and things very well or anything like that. So I was trying to think of something scary that didn't have a paranormal aspect, because that's usually what scares me, like ghosts and scary children in corners. So I was like, okay, how can I make it scary, but I won't have nightmares about it while I'm writing it? So I was like, okay, I'll have fun with it, and then it'll turn scary kind of like at the last minute, so I don't freak myself out. But yeah, it was super fun to write. I like getting in the zone with those things and just, I don't know, pounding it out and zipping through it as fast as I can, and then going back and fixing things. And so it had a flow that I liked, which is why I went with that story. I had a couple others that I was like playing around with, but I was like, this one flowed more nicely than the others.
Have you ever been published with any other anthologies, or is this your first?
This is my first. I actually don't do a lot of short stories. I have a couple poems published, and I'm working on some manuscripts that I'm handing out to agents for like full novels and things, but short stories are hard.
Yeah, it's a whole other art form.
Yeah, like being able to have enough information, but also in like a short amount of space, and convey enough of a story that, like, I know some people like to do short stories and be like, oh, it could continue into another book, and then they write a whole book based off of it. But I like short stories that are like, this is the story, this is it. So I was like, okay, that's hard. How do I do that?
Are you a slam poet too, or what kind of poetry do you do?
Oh, it's not really it's not, I wouldn't call it, like, it's not slam poetry, and it's not even cool poetry. It's just, what would you call the one that got published? And I don't remember the one I just got published.
Oh, that's cool though.
It was more prose poetry.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, poetry is just one of those things that I like to do on the side when I can't think. And it actually starts with the story idea, and I'm like, I don't really want to write the whole story, and then it goes into poem form instead.
Cool. Well, do you have any other things you want to say about yourself, or like, what are you hoping to get out of this story, like this anthology?
Well, I know that I always say, and I tell everyone who likes writing, I'm like, you're a writer, and if you like writing and you write stuff, you're a writer, and I always feel like the next step to like author is publishing things, even though like in the back of my brain I don't actually think like that, but in the front of my brain I'm like, you need to publish something. So it's actually really motivating to have like a story published instead of just a tiny little poem, because I've been working on like a couple manuscripts for a couple of years, and that's a huge extended process that takes so long. And so I'm just like, okay, I have something to show. I'm like, this is something I worked on that you can read right now, and it's fine, it's great.
Yeah, we'll do book launches and stuff too. You're like wanting to really put your hand in the... Yeah. Cool. Anything else you want to add before we...
No, I hope everyone has fun reading the anthology. I know that I'm going to have nightmares reading it. I totally love it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.